What had really happened that day? While her memory felt like a black hole tempting her to come closer and look at what was waiting for her inside, her mind kept crying out, "Don't look back!" It made her fear that the truth might be more terrifying than her lack of memory. Oakley started as her bedroom door opened, her older sister filling the frame. "I heard you cry out. The nightmare again?" She nodded as Tilly entered the room and sat down on the edge of her bed. "I thought after CJ confessed to accidentally shooting you, it would get better." "So did I." But she didn't trust her older brother's version of the story. There was a part of her brain that told her there was something important she desperately needed to recall before it was too late. "You stayed here last night?" she asked. Tilly often stayed with her fiancé at the McKenna ranch that adjoined theirs. The river dividing their land, the two families had been at odds for years. The bitterness between the McKenna patriarch, Holden McKenna, and their mother, the matriarch of the Stafford ranch, Charlotte Stafford, had gotten worse recently. "Have you heard from Mother?" Tilly asked as she rose from the bed and walked to the window. Oakley saw her glance at the engagement ring on her finger, the diamond catching the early morning light. In the distance, the mountains rose in rocky cliffs and pine-dotted hillsides capped with the last of winter's snow. Closer, the thick stand of cottonwoods stood stark along the river as it wound its way through the Powder River Basin under a clear, cold, cloudless, blue late December sky. "Maybe you should tell her about your engagement before she returns home," Oakley suggested, leaning against the headboard as the remnants of her nightmare burned away like morning mountain mist, leaving her unsettled. "Mother has enough on her plate right now." Oakley had been shocked when she'd learned who'd shot her. Her own brother. CJ swore it was an accident. She knew in her heart that there was more to it, and that was what had her scared. She had to remember, because all her instincts told her that her would-be killer was waiting in fear for her to do just that. While Oakley had been fighting for her life in the hospital, CJ had tried to flee the law. He'd rolled his pickup, almost killing Tilly and himself. Paralyzed, he'd been whisked away by their mother to a hospital in Minnesota that specialized in the care he needed. Their mother had gone with him. Oakley hadn't seen either of them since, nor had she gotten a chance to confront her brother. "I haven't heard anything from her," Oakley said. As far as she knew, CJ was still paralyzed, needing a wheelchair, something their mother refused to accept. If stubborn determination could heal her oldest son, Charlotte Stafford would have had him walking by now and the two would have returned to the ranch. "I can't believe that you've forgiven him," Tilly said. "He almost killed you." CJ had fired the bullet that had come so close to Oakley's heart that it had been amazing that she survived. It was his reason for shooting her that still haunted her. He'd apparently followed her onto McKenna Ranch property because he thought she was meeting someone from the rival ranch. Allegedly, he'd fired a warning shot to stop her that had gone awry. "I don't know that I can ever forgive him entirely," Oakley said. "It was bad enough what he did to me, but he almost killed you." She shook her head. "He's never had to suffer the consequences of his actions thanks to Mother, but this time he went too far. Not that I'd ever wish him to be badly injured, but he needs to spend some time behind bars. Not that Mother will ever allow that." Tilly looked as if she hadn't completely forgiven their brother either. She'd been on her way into town the day CJ found out the sheriff knew that he'd fired the near-fatal shot. Their brother abducted Tilly, taking her hostage as he raced along back roads, determined to escape punishment. "You realize CJ will go berserk when he finds out about your engagement to Cooper McKenna," Oakley said. "I'm not worried about CJ," Tilly said. "I'm more concerned about Mother. You know how she feels about the McKennas." Charlotte Stafford could be scary when crossed, but for Oakley it was CJ who appeared in her nightmares, along with a nagging conviction that he was lying about the shooting. "I just worry about what she'll do, Tilly. Didn't she threaten you if you kept seeing Cooper?" "There's nothing she can do," her sister said, sounding more confident than Oakley suspected.